Hello, welcome back to Psychic Tarot card reading. So this reading is for the year 2022. Yeah. So um okay. So the deck I'm using is the Wild Wisdom of the Fairy Oracle deck. So first of all, so this reading is going to be quite spiritual in the spiritual sense, in that I'm going to talk about like more of solutions than uh talking about only like what is going to happen. Yeah. I hope that makes sense. So because that's what I'm picking up. The energy, uh, especially for the earlier part of the year, it feels very, very foreign, as if people do not know what is about to happen. Yeah, almost like by the end of 2021, there'll be things that will, as if things are in the air, things are yet unsettled. And this applies whether it's with regards to the royal family, and I'm mentioning that because it's quite a big institution that tends to affect a lot of people's mental health. Also, by the end of 2021, from what I'm picking up, there's going to be a lot more focus on the mental state, the mental health of people, but especially with regards to doing something about it. Yeah, like by that stage, it's no longer going to be just focusing on people having mental health. It's like, okay, you have mental health problems, let's do something about it, or here is how to solve it. Yeah, so that's what I'm picking up. So it's that like by the end of 2021, that similar energy of doing something about something is going to enter into 2022. Now the reason for me mentioning this is because of these cards that I've been picking up. So uh okay, so this is sort of like the beginning of the year, earlier part of the year, the middle part, and then the latter part. um Okay, so this beginning earlier part, you can see these two cards here, which are quite benign looking, but this is going to be just a mirage. So I'm going to put this, the 2021 reading that I did, it was more spiritual as well. I'm getting a similar or the same kind of energy. So as I've mentioned before, what has been happening since around like 20 2020 and a little bit before then, karma, a karmic cycle. So that's what I'm picking up for 2022 again, because obviously there are people who are never going to learn the lesson until they go through the similar experiences as the past. And when I say some people, I mean literally until like the majority of the world. So hence why the similar energy for 2022 is like 2021. I do feel lots of death, like an incredible amount of deaths, but almost as if it's going to be contained within the first period of the year. And then after that, it will just sort of not so much lessen, like decrease, as much as people becoming used to it. Yeah. So much so that by the end of this year, 2022, it's no longer going to be shocking for like if a celebrity or a certain politician, even high ranking, passes away. Yeah. Um so this okay, so this card here signifying the beginning of the year, benign energy. So this card, Silver Sisters, time to take protection from toxic thoughts and energy. So, Silver Sisters is what it reads. The silver signifying coloring, almost like aura. So, meaning that, uh, meaning that in the beginning of the year, of this year, there's going to be a lot of gaslighting. Yeah, things that you cannot control, like on the physical surface, things that like something that you will not be able to prove what it's about, but it's gonna happen anyway. And I don't just mean like in politics or on the world stage. I mean even with friends, even with family members, like silver sisters, sort of like double someone behaving in a particular manner, but you know that they have a different face. Yeah, I know that that's the way we've been operating anyway in the past, but this is going to be on a level that we have never seen or known before. Yeah. So what I would say, so this card is sort of bringing the solution to this It's not even betrayal, it's more like a double face or someone being mean, but in a spiritual way, almost like witchcraft. Yeah, not almost, like witchcraft, in the deception or delusion, like them gaslighting you to the point where you do not or cannot doubt that they want, that they're gaslighting you in order to destroy your mental state, like your sanity. So in a way, it's like witchcraft in order to make you delusional, to turn you into like, not just in order to turn you into a psychotic person. Yeah, yeah, like psychosis, so that it would be as if you're hearing voices, because you can't seem, your mental health cannot seem to reconcile what the person might be telling you or even showing you with what they then do in the background, that is like in the spiritual sense, which is their mind. Yeah, so I hope that makes sense. I'm gonna do a follow-up video on this reading, yeah, because I think it's worth exploring, because it's a lot of like deep, like I said before, spiritual things taking place increasingly. So this card, is sort of for the solution, and it reads story keeper, literally story keeper. So this is what you'd have to do. From what I'm getting, this is a solution, sort of like from to apply from the beginning of, sorry, from the end of 2021. Yeah, the end of 2021 really signals the beginning of 2022. So whatever solutions I give here is really about end of 2021 going into 2022, which I would say you should have sort of applied this already in the beginning of this year 2021, but it's not too late, and it wouldn't be too late. So don't feel as if it's too late, or as if there's nothing more that you can do or should do. You definitely should. So story keeper, keep track of the stories that they have been telling you. Even if you cannot remember or keep track of everything or anything, start keeping track today, like from now. Once you watch this video, keep track of the stories that people tell you, especially, rather, the people who you do not trust or the people that you cannot trust. Let me put it this way: people you cannot trust with your life. Yeah, those are the people. So I'm not saying that they are bad. I'm just saying you want to keep an eye out, like you want to keep track of what they've been telling you. Because if you watch, sort of my previous readings, I've mentioned, because the evil side, evil people have become and are becoming a lot more intentional about doing evil in the background. The background is not the physical space, it's the spiritual space, like in their minds. That's the spiritual realm. They're more intentional about directing and redirecting their evil energy to other people and other people's minds. It means your mind, whether you want it or not, is going to be heavily affected, if not through voices, then through heavy energy or images. Like when you dream, you wake up and it's as if you never slept at all. You feel as if you're under heavy attack, those kinds of things. And this is regardless of whether anybody believes in the spiritual realm, it will become more prominent to people. So this is the solution. Keep track of the stories. You may think that it's not relevant or important to keep track of these stories, but it is for the middle part of the year. Because for the middle part of the year, what I'm seeing is these people, and I really have to mention it now, it's people you would never have seen coming. It could be like a family member who was always kind and smiling, but you never knew or you never saw what they had actually been doing on underneath the surface. But as this year 2021 and going into 2022, as the year 2022 goes on, the veil is going to be lifted in such a way, like the lid will be lifted, that whoever is doing evil in the thoughts, in the mind, like directing evil thoughts, they are going to be caught. They are going to be found out. I do not know how to explain it, but it will just happen. Yeah, it will just happen. So it means by the time they get caught out, it's going to be too late for you if you had not been paying attention. Yeah. So that's why you've got to apply the story keeping. The more of these stories you keep, the less you are going to feel as if you were going crazy. So that when this sort of like revelations, when the opening happens, you won't feel as if you were too stupid or too dumb to notice what this person was saying in your spirit or to your spirit all along. Yeah. Um, because I feel as though this is the latter part of the year, right? And this the color is quite green, edging on the sort of dark, like green, almost like the environment. So meaning so many energies are going to be at play that you should only focus on yourself, but it's going to be extremely difficult, almost impossible to focus only on yourself if you do not use this story keeping that I'm mentioning. Because even as the veil is being lifted, right, these elites or the evil people, they will recognize, I'll say elites. The elites, my definition, what I'm talking about, it's not the elites who are wealthy in material things only. Like, not that. It's people like your neighbor, people who do not want to focus on them or their businesses alone, but who want to spread into the business of other people, who do not want to focus on their business alone, but they want to get involved in what other people are doing or saying. Yeah, those are the people who are really evil or who will become evil because they do not see or realize the dangers in not minding your own business. When if you do not mind your business, you're more open to demonic possession, because that's what demons do not respect individuality or sovereignty. They like to invade or they like to possess. And that's what would happen. A lot of demonic possession, a lot of possession by evil spirits, or just spirits that may not seem evil at first glance, but they are much more subtle in the evil that they do. So you're going to have to be careful. In saying that, it means that the demonic possession is going to rank from your neighbor, your friends, family members, even to the high ranking, materially like rich, materially wealthy elites that we know. And it means that whilst the veil is being lifted or opened and true colors are being exposed, you're gonna be distracted by things to do with the environment. Things like tankers spilling, oil spills, things like those. Like, really, what has been happening to the planet for for centuries. But it's just a mirage. Yeah. And I feel the need to say this because even as they are being exposed more and more, like what they are about in the spiritual realm and what they've been doing, these elites or these people who are well aware of what they've been doing, i.e., the evil or good in the spiritual realm, they're going to try to use ways to infiltrate your thought process by using the old paradigms, things like the environment. So it will be almost like whilst people are dying left, right, and center, and it feels as though the world is like about to explode, these people, these players are going to be pretending, or they're going to be intentionally carrying on as if everything is normal. But the normality isn't, oh, everything is fine. It's more like, oh, look, why are you focusing on your mental state? Even though you're being gaslighted, why are you focusing on your mental state when on this hand there is an oil spill? Don't you care about the environment? Why don't you focus on this instead? Because they want to get your focus away from yourself, your mental state, your spirit, to the rest of the world, the physical realm, which it wouldn't work. If you allow yourself to get distracted, the way to get distracted is by what I mentioned before, like the Silver Sisters, right? You buy into the gaslighting. And one of the easiest ways of buying into the gaslighting is by not recording, not taking a note, a mental note or a physical note of what would have been taking place with you or to you. So the more you, like, if you easily buy into this, you're going to be a goner. And into the year 2023 and beyond, there's gonna be no way back for you to regain your sanity. Yeah. So it is as serious as this, in that in the year 2022 in which we're going, there's not gonna be a way of redemption for those people who have chosen the wrong way. In saying this, it should not mean that, in watching this, that you should panic if you feel as though, let's say, a family member may have taken the wrong way, if the hearts and the intentions are to see the truth, they will get to see the truth. They'll come to see the truth at some point in the future. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so this card here, um it reads riddle fisher. It ties in with that other card about the story keeper. When you write down a story that has happened to you, or something that has happened to your loved one, I would say here, what I'm picking up, in fact, that's the story keeping. If you want to protect or shield your loved ones from these spiritual attacks that will be happening, story keep for them as well. Yeah, so in your story keeping, try to maybe like ask them what has been happening to them, so that you can write it down and remind them later on. Because from what I'm picking up, right, in the year 2022, it's going to be so grave that you will feel as if your world and your world alone has been torn upside down. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm going to use the cards, right? So it's going to be this dichotomy. On one space, there are people who are going to the house. It's like people whose houses are falling down, because I don't mean literal houses. I mean the grayness, the gray, like this would be the mental state, the grayness. Whilst some other people's mental state is as bright as this, like this dichotomy. And again, this person is in the picture with this other sort of background, meaning that you might feel as though if your mental state is bright or isn't down, you might feel as though the other person is imagining things like, oh, come on, things are not so bad. In fact, the world is getting better. From what I'm seeing, the world is getting better. There are so many things being exposed. Are you not happy? Aren't you glad that these things are getting exposed? But the reason why these people, their aura or their energy or their mind, their mental health is going to be gray is exactly because they were not counting on more things being exposed. They actually thought that exposures were just going to stay at the level of their enemies and not they themselves. Yeah. So that's what I'm seeing really. So which is why I would say to you, do not feel empathy whatsoever for these people who are going to be in this particular mental state, because they asked for it. Yeah. And I know that this may sound harsh, but you'll see what I mean in the coming future. Yeah. So the reason for even doing this reading in 2021, I mean, we're still in August, but it matters for what is about to come. Because what is about to come in the year 2021, even, because the year 2021, right? We are in August. I think like maybe around December, it's going to be so much spiritual energy that it's going to be heavy. And these particular people, these ones here with the gray aura, they are going to be so spiteful. They're going to become so spiteful that it would be a miracle. In fact, it would be the grace of or the mercy, I guess, or the sympathy of the spiritual realm, like the angels whatsoever, to uh to save the mental state of these people here. Yeah, of these people. These people here, you can see they're sort of like angels, right? I mean, I'm not saying that they're pure or anything like that. And in fact, I would say people who are in this, who fall into this category, they're far from angels. Because in fact, some of them, quite a lot of them, rejected the truth as well. It's just that at the very last minute, they chose to go on the side of the truth. So that's what made them turn them into this. Otherwise, they would have been as gray and as like, how would I say, like cement or like granite. Yeah, as these people right here. Yeah, so this is really the state of in which the world is going. In the readings that I've done in the past, right, I've always hesitated to put things into groups because it was never that simple. Where we are moving towards, it is going to be that simple, that because the end of 2021, there's going to be so much spite that it's deliberate, and it's in order to gaslight to a point of insanity, delusion, to get these people here, those who want to reach for the truth or those who want to reach for impartiality, being impartial, they will no longer be able to. Like there's no way these people here you're going to be able to remain impartial, if not because of your conscience troubling you to take a stand, but because you've been pushed into it by these gray characters. Yeah. So you're going to have to, end of 2021, going into 2022, you're going to have to be firm on the fact that what is happening is not by coincidence. It's not a coincidence. So therefore, be grateful to the spiritual realm for rescuing you, for rescuing and saving your mental state. Yeah, because it's going to be really bad. Like, it's going to be really horrible. The attacks on people's mental state, the attacks by these groups of people. Yeah. So I mentioned earlier on, I hardly, sort of take sides or put people into groups, but really, this side is going to be like, is so despicable. And I cannot say who it will be at the moment simply because people are still choosing and taking sides. But there will come a point, I think, like end of 2021, beginning of 2022, is going to cement things like this cement. And the cement, like literally, the people or the side that will cement things, it's not these people, the truth tellers or, truth seekers. It's these people who would have drawn the line. Yeah. Because I just said cement things because they look like cement. Like this side looks like cement. And they have turned themselves into that. Cement or granite, such materials, they're very cold, unfeeling. Yeah, this is exactly how these people, these individuals are going to become. Almost like what we have seen with the vaccines, the vaccine mandates. And I'm not advocating for or against the vaccines. I think it's your choice. I'm impartial on that. But what I will say is forcing people, even to the detriment of like when if you know that they're going to commit suicide if they get forced, like that kind of sentiment, like you're not afraid or you're not ashamed or you're not bothered enough to shed blood, the blood of other people, just because you want to have your own way on their lives, then there's something wrong and you turn into a cold, unfeeling, like almost heartless sort of character. Yeah, which is what these people are going to become. And I say almost heartless because they are still human, so they have their heart, but their heart will no longer be functioning. Yeah. So I know that what I'm saying is pretty dramatic, but we are about to move into like the dramatic. So it's worth speaking in that regard. Yeah. So I will say, like, these people, truth tellers, truth speakers, people who want to know the truth, even if it costs them the pride or the arrogance, yeah, they are the ones who are going to be rescued. These people, such people should feel grateful to the spiritual realm because from what I see, like what's about to take place, it's like such spite, such evil from these groups of people that it's not that they wanted to save this group. Had the spiritual realm, and by spiritual realm, I mean people who had been seeing the truth way before this is about to take place. If those people had not been acting in the realm of the spirit, these people would have been dragged in. They would have been subjugated. They would have been sat on. Yeah, like the mental state. I mean, when it happens, you'll see what I'm talking about. But really, it's like, it's no joke. And you should feel grateful. And I feel that I need to say this because this particular group of people, they might feel so at ease in their minds, in their mental states, that they're gonna almost like want, from what I'm picking up, they want to spend all their time or most of their time complaining, just complaining rather than feeling and being grateful. Yeah. So what I'm picking up from the spiritual is that you should be grateful for all these things that are about to happen to you because if not, these people are merciless, they are cold, they are heartless. It's not that they were usually like that, but they have become like that for several reasons. So if you have questions on this, or I'm going to do a follow-up video anyway on this, but in any case, they have become robots, literally like robots. If you've watched Doctor Who, like the Cybermen or the Daleks, like that, no heart except the physical heart that they possess, or the spiritual heart as well, but which they have they have like subjugated enough for it not to function, in order for them to see the humanity in their fellow man. So they are going to be united in the evil, in the spite for others. So you need not bother about them. They cannot touch you because your mental state is going to be intact. But having said that, you ought to be grateful. Yeah. Because if you're not grateful, you risk being dragged into that circle, and it's not going to be pretty because you feel like humanless, yeah, inhumane, yeah, because these people, despite how cold they've become, they can feel the coldness. In fact, that is part of what contributes to their spite, because they know and they can feel that they've become less than human. Yeah, so you should be in gratitude. The reason for all these things happening in the world today and in the future, and these people even becoming cold, is because of ingratitude. So if these groups of people, if they fail to be grateful, they risk being dragged back into this circle. So warm your heart, bring some color into your body through ingratitude, because otherwise you will go back, like you'll go into this circle, and it's not going to be pretty, because these people, in as much as they've been united in sort of pushing forward agendas, they are about to, or they're going to turn in on themselves, because obviously evil has no loyalty, so it can only turn in on itself at some point in time. So you ought to be careful, or rather you ought to be grateful. Yeah, you ought to be grateful. So that's the main message. The main message is for 2022, yeah, and 2021. So I will do follow-up reading on this. I'm just waiting for your questions. If you have any questions, let me know. And I'm well aware that I'm putting this out on a day I'm supposed to have done a live reading, but in light of what has been taking place with Afghanistan and everything else, because I've noticed that people are trying to sort of divert the issue of Afghanistan and pretend as if it's not happening, but it is, and it's never going away. Neither is the guilt of the other sort of like atrocities, or the guilt of the bullying, or just the complete insanity that had been taking place over the past like political cycles. Those things are not going away either. The vilifying of people, the making people this making, like, stripping people of their humanity just because of their political choices, that too is what has contributed to this inhumanity, and it's only going to increase. So that's why I'm putting this forward, that it doesn't matter the live readings that I do if people are not waking up to the fact that the world is no longer going to be the same. Yeah. So that would be, I'd say, like the overarching message, that the world is never going to be the same, and you shouldn't expect it to. Yeah. So in your questions, I would plead with you not to ask if things are going to go back to normal, because I will take that as antagonism and I won't tolerate it. Yeah. So now you know, or you see what's about to happen. Again, I do not force anybody to believe me. That's your prerogative. And in fact, I would respect you for standing on your belief, not to believe me. But if you choose to believe me, then do believe what I am saying, and not sort of like half-heartedly that the world is no longer going to be the same, but I'm still going to ask this tarot reader if what she's saying is true about the world not being the same. It's like, if you pick up what I'm reading is or might be correct, then you can get your own deck of cards. I would heavily encourage that, and look into it yourself. Or you can carry out the exercises that we have done, um, and ask the spirits, whether it's my spirit in the spiritual realm, or the spirits of these entities, people, your neighbors, your angels, even whatever it might be. But I've shown you how to do these exercises anyway, the spiritual ones. So do these exercises, and do not just take my words at face value, but examine them and match it. Try to see what is happening in the world and what is happening in your own circle of space. Yeah. And let me know if what I've been saying is correct or matches up with what has been happening with you. Once you do so, if you choose to do so, then we can go forward on your mental health and your mental state. Yeah, because that's what I really feel the need to focus on. Yeah. So thank you so very much for watching this, and I'll see you in future readings. Yeah.